What if you could design, test, and deploy an advanced trading system the exact same way a systems architect builds a high-performance pipeline? Visually, intuitively, and without writing a single line of code. That is the power of Traderoid's node-based graph editor. We have broken down an institutional-grade trading engine into 5 fundamental, composable layers that you can configure entirely via drag and drop. First is ingestion. Everything begins with a data source node. You plug directly into live, multi-asset market data, whether you're trading equities, crypto, or Forex. Second is analysis. You route that raw data stream into our technical toolkit. Drag an RSI, Bollinger Bands, moving averages, or Ichimoku clouds. They act as modular components, calculating market metrics concurrently. Third is evaluation. This is your decision layer. By wiring your indicators into comparison and conditional logic nodes, you build precise, multi-layered triggers. When the math aligns, the logic node fires. Fourth is risk management. Before a single dollar is risked, your signal passes through a mathematical defense layer. Here, you define strict boundaries, clipping on hard stop loss and take profit brackets, or applying algorithmic constraints like max drawdown thresholds and a Sharpe ratio. Fifth is execution. Once risk is accounted for, the signal routes straight into dynamic action nodes. This is where your strategy interacts with the market, opening positions, scaling in, managing trailing orders, and routing liquidity exactly when your edge appears. Finally, outbound signal nodes handle your alerting, routing data instantly where you need it, whether that's a Telegram alert or a custom webhook firing into your environment. Your entire edge is transparent, modular, and built node by node. Once your graph is built, you point our engine at deep historical data and sweep across parameter combinations automatically. Want to test RSI periods from 10 to 30 across 3 different time frames simultaneously? Traderoid handles the heavy lifting, running every permutation in parallel using high-performance, multi-threaded workers. Instead of waiting hours, you instantly get a comprehensive leaderboard ranked by profit factor, win rate, or Sharpe ratio, complete with equity curves, drawdown charts, and heat maps to spot the parameters that actually hold up. But historical performance can be a trap. To defeat curve fitting, your strategy enters the second stage, walk-forward analysis. Traderoid slices your historical data into rolling, anchored folds, ruthlessly training your logic on one window and testing on the next, unseen window over and over again. We track your walk-forward efficiency to prove exactly how well your in-sample winners translate to out-of-sample data. If your strategy survives this gauntlet, you have genuine, mathematical proof of robustness. The final gate before risking real capital is paper trading via the Roid runner. Here, your visual graph is compiled into a highly optimized runtime, executing virtual orders against live, real-time market feeds. You watch your system behave under true market conditions, tracking real-time slippage, order execution, and live charts completely risk-free. Backtest to prove the edge. Walk forward to verify it's real. Paper trade to trusted under live fire. That is how Traderoid takes you from raw idea to absolute market confidence. Welcome to the deploy phase, where your visual design transitions instantly from graph to cloud execution. With a single click from the Roid Runner panel, Traderoid compiles your entire graph, every node, connection, and parameter into a self-contained Roid, a highly optimized, lightweight strategy process. But cloud execution means you aren't tied to a desk. Traderoid's dedicated mobile application brings this exact institutional monitoring infrastructure to your pocket. Whether on iOS or Android, you can track open positions, review trade history, and audit strategy health on the move. Behind the scenes, everything is persisted. The server stores every historical bar, every indicator output, and every executed trade. You can return days, weeks, or months later to replay exactly what your strategy did, when it did it, and mathematically why. But the Traderoid ecosystem doesn't stop at the canvas. For those who prefer to think in pure code rather than dragging components, Traderoid offers 2 dedicated, built-in languages, each engineered for a different level of control, with an absolute one-to-one mapping back to the visual engine. The first is Slang, short for strategy language. Slang is Traderoid's domain-specific scripting language. Here, code and graph are perfectly synchronized. Write a line of script, and a node instantly drops onto the canvas. Reference a variable, and an edge wires itself automatically. To remove the syntax barrier entirely, we built the Traderoid AI assistant directly into the code engine. Backed by a custom RAG pipeline, you simply describe your strategy in plain English. The AI instantly parses your prompt against our documentation and generates production-ready slang script. Because code and Canvas are synchronized, the AI doesn't just write your script. It simultaneously wires your visual graph in the background, translating raw human intent into a complete, executable trading pipeline in seconds. When your strategy demands a custom calculation that no built-in node can express, you use Soma. Soma is our built-in programming language for custom strategy logic, a blank canvas inside your graph. When no existing node does exactly what you need, you write a Soma block, define what data flows in, what signals come out, and write the logic in plain, readable code using native financial functions, variables, and loops. Once written, your block becomes a native node in the graph, indistinguishable from any built-in indicator.